Good evening, Mr. Baret. I was reading Jean Klein, one of his books the other night, and he was talking about the pure conscience. He was saying that it was pure consciousness from all eternity. And I was wondering, what is that conscience? What is that conscience before even life exists, before the Big Bang even then, or at the time of the Big Bang? Anyhow, what is that what they call that pure conscience, which is so talked about in spiritual books? And for me, it's a pure mystery, and the only answer I can say that I do not know. So, what can you say about that conscience?
Nothing. You must ask the question to somebody like Jean Klein. Only a guru or somebody like him can answer you. You don't have the slightest idea. I'm not sure that the book of Jean Klein are supposed to mean something. They are pointers. They are poetry which, if you let the flow, if you let the flower, if you let the feeling live in you, may bring you to a kind of openness. But if you want to understand what is inside, it's like to try to understand poetry. It's you're destroying the poetry. I'm not sure there's a meaning there. And certainly not the meaning that one could know, because then it will be an objective meaning. And as far as what you describe, in the way it was said, it doesn't seem to refer to any objective meaning. So if it doesn't refer to any objective meaning, it cannot be known. So what is it? What can never be known as an objective experience?
And that which cannot be known, is that a nothingness?
It's a nothingness from many possible thoughts. It's a nothingness from many possible conception, representation. But the very fact you, in a way you mention it, you fulfill it, or you let this possibility being in your thoughts prove that it is not a nothingness. Otherwise you could not even ask the question. When you go to deep sleep, is it a nothingness? It's a nothingness from your representation. It's a nothingness from the idea you have of yourself and the world. But when you go to sleep, you don't feel you disappear. And when you wake up in the morning, you don't feel you just appear.
ÉRIC, I often feel like this, like there is some, this sounds maybe psychotic, but like this voice or this call or something pulling, something that pulls on me towards what I call outside, and I know that the answers are not outside, but I don't know where this thing is. It's like it's hiding from. It's like playing with me. It calls, and I look, and it keeps calling. And maybe that's the way to live, to just hear the call. But it's hard to not try and find it. There's this movement that wants to find it and finally be quiet. But I think I'm dreaming, to hope that it will become quiet.
At first, don't dichotomize yourself. It is not a voice calling you, it is yourself. Sometimes you think that in doing this or that something happens. So sometimes you sleep with somebody, or sometimes you do this, or sometimes you think this, or sometimes you go there thinking, well, maybe it will work. It is not a voice, it is not a ghost nor an angel, it is you. And there's nothing wrong there, because there's nothing outside. It is only because you have a representation of some mysterious truth, which you call inside, that you decide that the neighbor next door is outside. The neighbor next door is not outside. Outside of what? Outside of consciousness? Whatever comes to you is consciousness. In the form of the neighbor, in the form of your next lover, in the form of a travel, in the form of a car, in the form of a piano, in the form of a dog. Why will be the dog outside consciousness? So you only intensity is in recognizing that whatever you perceive can only be what you're looking for. What you're looking for cannot be objective, but whatever is objective is what you're looking for. Because there's nothing outside consciousness. Objectivity is consciousness in space and time. Is consciousness through the process of our brain. So yes, it is not in doing this or that you can discover consciousness. And it is not a problem because you don't have to discover consciousness. It is consciousness revealed to you in the shape of what happened. The only line is to be more and more welcoming to the way consciousness appears to you. As a traveler, as a lover, as a dog, as a neighbor, chillness has a hardness or a softness. Krishna did not say to Arjuna to go away from the battle to find truth. He tell him to fight. He is a fighter, he must fight. What one like or not is irrelevant. He is a killer, he has to kill. He has a bow, he has to use it against his family, against his guru, against his what he loves. It is his duty, it is his beauty. It is in the action that you celebrate consciousness. Action is only celebration of consciousness. So don't despise yourself because you sometimes look at a beautiful dog or a beautiful neighbor or a beautiful trip. You're right, but just don't qualify it as outside.
But Arjuna had a definite role. I don't know what my role is.
Your role is exactly what you do because it's not that you have a choice. Arjuna didn't have a choice neither than to feel weak and to want it to go away from the battlefield because he's holding a bourgeois concept of peace and of respect and of not fighting. In reality, push him back to the truth that the fighter must fight. That to do what one likes is irrelevant. You must do what you have to do. And that's what you do, because it's not that you have a choice. Arjuna didn't have a choice of wanting going away from the battle, nor did he have a choice to join the battle again when clarity came to him. So in whatever way consciousness comes to you, it is always in a proper way for you. So when you say, what is my role? Well, your role is to ask this question. Why? Because that's what you do. All are not fixed. It is only because we look at Arjunas according to the different structure of Indian society, then we said as a Kshatriya he has to fight. But that's a cultural interpretation. He is as much in the right spot when he feels weak, when his hand trembles, when his bow falls out of his hand, that when he's going to kill his friends the next moment in the battle. He is no more right than, because he's no right and wrong. It is only for the sake of the teaching that Krishna seems to imply that he has to come back to his sense and fight. But in fact, even when he was not fighting, he was in the right place. But you don't have to look for the right action. The right action is whatever happened. Right action will always be wrong for somebody. For the people Arjuna will kill in the battle, maybe the right action will be painful. But that doesn't mean it's not the right action. So never look for support from the surrounding. Never look for support from your own thinking. It is right. Never look for comment from your own thinking. this is wrong, because there's no such a thing.
Because what?
Because there's no such a thing as wrong. And because there's no such a thing as wrong, there's no such a thing as right. So the guitar was spread out in the surrounding in which the level of the concept of purity and the right and wrong were very important. In the Indian society, so guitar was expressed in this dualistic form in many parts, not all the parts, but it doesn't have to be maintained in this dualistic element. The expression is dualistic as when a poet sings the praise of a god. In order to sing the praise, he must pretend God is away from him. Because in the poetry, sometimes you want to express this feeling of oneness with God, or will express his union with God. But he can only express his union with God if at the time he expresses disunion. So that's poetry. Disunion is not further from consciousness than union. It is only the poetical expression which actualizes it like that. As when you listen to Indian music, you can listen to a raga of sadness and violence, or you can listen to a raga of peace and astonishment, but at the end of the raga you have the same beauty. So there is no one aspect of life which is closer. That's the base of the sense of drama in Indian tradition. That's what Abhinavagupta has so well expressed when he described all the 8 emotions of life which culminate in the 9th, in the feeling of the I am, of pure consciousness. So fear is not further from consciousness than happiness. And peace is not closer. So you must appropriate yourself the tantric approach, in which everything will come to you is the way consciousness needs to be recognized from you. But if you keep the Vedantic point of view, that everything which appears, because it does appear, is not consciousness, and that you want to remain in pure consciousness, this you will never make it on your own. If you were lucky to have met somebody like Jean Klein, or like Ananda Mouse, those unique people, with them you could have achieved eventually the integrating of the pure unfurnished consciousness, which is a Vedantic way, where you exclude everything. But that needs the presence of a guru. Then unfortunately you have very little chance in our day and age to meet a guru before you die, whether here or in India. And if you do, there's nothing to say, everything is done. But if you don't, get rid of the Vedantic ideology. And you must adapt to the Tantric ideology, in which everything you meet is consciousness, because there's nothing away from it. And this line can be integrated without a guru as such. It is a democratic line. Vedantic teaching it's an aristocratic line. You need presence of somebody who lives this freedom, in which at the moment you will be facing it, will maintain you in this consciousness, even if the formulation is dualistic. But in the tantric approach, no. It is for you to recognize that everything cannot be different than consciousness. Inside and outside belong to the Vedantic approach. It is highly afunctional in the world. In the Tantric approach, you put the whole world under your coat.
I'll try to say my question in English. If it's not clear, I might ask to repeat it in French. You're pointing out to the essential perfection of any product, singular element of consciousness, and from that perspective, good versus evil losing essentially their grip on us. The question I have is to you, is there any risk of misappropriating this teaching in terms of exonerating oneself from seeing into the suffering that us or people around us convey through so-called negative behavior? In my opinion, any compulsion that's under the sun carries with it an essential perfectness, but at the same time, it's really a social signal also that's being sent. It's a call for freedom that is very socially based, and in a way, if one takes on a position not only to radically accept it, but also to almost exonerate oneself from doing anything about it. I think there's a very subtle cop-out that one can go through instead of going through the real challenge of really meeting somebody who's expressing so-called negative behavior, be it a child, being a substance-using person, anybody caught with any compulsive type of behavior for which you could say, well, it's perfect. It's perfect. There's nothing to judge. Isn't there a risk to?
There's always a possibility to misunderstand something. You can misunderstand a gesture and beat somebody by mistake. You can misunderstand some word and yes, when you write a check, you can miswrite the numbers and yes, what is the problem of mistakes? Yes, it was possible to misunderstand everything, of course, what people do. Some people misunderstood it so much that they think they realize. If you go to California, go to Holland, and many of them, but what is the problem there? To judge is a structural element. To judge is for a judge. If you see a judge, you judge. But your activity of life may be functional. A policeman should not judge. You must apply the law. You must not judge because next month they change the law. they change the speed. So what was wrong at some time, he will say, oh no, it is right today. It is duty. The church must decide. The one who makes the law, everybody has different activity. But why should you see yourself as a judge if you're not? Why should a judge sing? Judging comes from knowing. And when you realize that there is nothing you can know, how can you judge? How can you judge somebody who rape your neighbor? You can stop it, maybe. You can kill him. In ultimate circumstance, maybe. But how can you judge him? What for? When a lion eats a cow, it's very rare. Because in reality there is no cow on it, but there are lions. The experience of the cow is not very agreeable, but does that make me judge that it is wrong? I understand that the cow thinks it is wrong, but as a lion, you must feed his family. If he doesn't eat that cow, he will eat somebody else, some other animal. So, what should I know that I will decide it is right or wrong? I don't know what is right or wrong. I understand that people know that this is wrong and I respect it. I don't know. I don't know what is the right border of Israel. I don't know the right border with Kashmir. I don't know what is the right border of Chad and Mali. Some people know it is good for them, I don't know. So I understand, the moment you know what is right and wrong, and you fight for it, you kill for it. But if you don't know, what should it be a problem? What should you pretend to know? So it is totally right for me, for a judge, to condemn somebody who rapes a neighbor. I have no problem with that. But the therapist who is going to see the rapist, if he judges a rapist, he's not a good therapist. As a therapist, you should not judge. As a judge, you should not pretend to be a therapist. The problem in our society is that people want to be judges, policemen, and therapists. No, you can't. You must know what is your stand, and as a judge, you pass judgment. That doesn't mean you have to believe them. That doesn't mean you have to pretend you know, but for the global well, you decide this is right and this is wrong. You decide it is wrong to sleep for a boy with a girl which is less than 16 or 14 or 12 or 18 according to where you live. That doesn't mean that you don't know that some girl has 12 has a maturity of 30, and that some woman has 30 has a maturity of 12. And if you sleep with a woman of 30 years old who has maturity of 12, you should go to jail. But the law said no. And if you sleep with a girl of 15 who has maturity of 30, you go to jail. And your knowledge will tell you that it is wrong, it is a mistake. But as a judge, you must decide what is the right age to sleep with somebody or not. And that's okay. But if you're not a judge, you have a different suppleness in life. As a policeman, you must do certain things. But if you're not a policeman, it is different. So situations, of course, can be seen in a very different way. But the judging is a structural element. It should not be a psychological one. If you judge the rapist is wrong, it's because you haven't seen clearly how things function. It's because you see the rapist do it freely. It doesn't. The rapist will love not to have to rape to feel what he feels when he rapes. But he doesn't make it without it. So his only way is to rape. It doesn't mean you have to let him do, if he wants to rape you or your wife or your son. But there is a space in life where you act as a therapist and you will not judge the rapist. You see that the poor thing cannot do anything else than what he does. And if you want to help him, it is not to tell him how wrong he is, it is to let him slowly unravel his functioning, his fear, his suffering, and eventually, with that maybe, at some point, there may be a change in behavior. But, so, understanding that you're not a judge doesn't mean you let everything happen, but it means that you don't need to evaluate the action. That when a dog attacks your daughter, you don't need to create a bad dog. Maybe you kill the dog, but you don't need to create the idea of a bad dog, because there's no such a thing as a bad dog. And because there's no such a thing as a nice dog. Nice dog will kill another moment. Bad dog will be so gentle and affectionate in other moment. So you react to situation, but you need a judgment for that. Society judge that is this way of functioning, but you do not have to pretend yourself to be the society. But there's no problem with law, there's no problem with authority, there's no problem with judgment. But just at some point I don't need to pretend myself to be a judge. I don't need to justify anything. Why should I justify anything? It's like if you tell me about you justified the massacre, you justified... why do I have to do that? There are massacres. Why should I justify it or not? It's like you tell me that if you have no judgment, you justified Hitler. Why do I have to justify Hitler or not? There was Hitler. That's reality. You live with reality. Your judgment will not stop at Hitler. So, dealing with reality puts you attuned with functionality. Judging leaves you in a fantasy. It is bad. It is bad, great, badness. Because it is lack of clarity. Why to judge functioning? The fact that there is suffering doesn't mean it is bad, it means it is what it is. You have some little animal who can only live by laying eggs in some other animal, and when the eggs open, the little worm come and eat the animal from inside and so on. So that is bad, but not for the worms. Do I need to know if it is bad or not? I don't need to know. I understand that there is some rules, but I don't abide to them. I understand them. I understand that there will be all responsible by some law, but I don't abide to them inside. I understand that some society will judge me that it is wrong I've done that. I respect the judgment, but I don't feel wrong. Because I don't feel right. Because I don't know what is right and wrong, because what I do is what I do. And I do it not because it is right or wrong, I do it because I have no other choice. Because there is no autonomy. What you do and what I do don't come from our own decision. It comes from life. You're not responsible of your intelligence, your maturity, your spirituality, your sensitivity. The rapist is not responsible for his stupidity, for his violence, for his suffering, for his problematic, his lack of sensitivity. He can be judged, can be killed, but at some point you don't do it yourself. Maybe you kill him, but you don't judge him at least. Judging is the kind of arrogance. I don't know what is right or wrong. I understand that when a cow is eaten by a lion, the cow feels it is very wrong. I understand it. I respect it. But I don't know if it is wrong because I don't see what could mean that it is wrong. I don't know what is the right age for somebody to die. And if you said, if tonight I come back and I kill my neighbor and she's 20, you don't think it is wrong, I will tell you, no, I don't know. I don't know what is the right age for your neighbor to die. You know it is beautiful to know. It's better should die at 21, it's better should die at 32, it's better should die at 92. You know what is the right age for her to die, I don't. For me the right age for her to die is when she will die. That doesn't mean if I see somebody trying to kill her, I will not participate in the game. But it will not be from knowing, it will be because it is something I cannot not do it. When I see a cat trying to eat a bird, sometimes I look at it with pleasure, and sometimes I kick the cat. But when I kick the cat, I don't pretend it's better, because the bird is going to kill so many animals with its beak, because I didn't let the cat eat it. And this animal will think was very wrong to kick the cat. So when I kick the cat, I don't think it is right. And when I see the cat eating the bird, I don't think it is wrong. I don't think. I understand the cat at the point of view. If I kick him, I think it is wrong. I understand if the cat eats the bird, the cat thinks it is right. I understand when the bird is eaten by the cat, the bird thinks it is wrong. I understand when I kick the cat, the bird thinks I'm a great man. I understand when the worm is eaten by the bird thinks I'm really a piece of shit. If I would not have let this happen, he would be alive. I understand. I don't know what is right and wrong. The bird knows, the worm knows, the cat knows, I don't. That doesn't stop the action, one way or another. That's the only way to live. Otherwise, there will always be a debate. Did I do it right? Did I do it wrong? What for? What right, what wrong? It's a fantasy. I don't need to justify anything, it does happen. I don't need to justify violence, it does happen. My discourse doesn't justify anything, it doesn't condemn anything, because it will not change anything. Some people think they condemn violence. Does that stop anything? Some people condemn torture. Does that stop the torture? Some people condemn rape. Does that stop the rape? It's only thinking. Then they sleep better because they condemn rape. Will that stop one rape in the next night? No. Why making noise in their head for nothing? But there's no effect, I don't do. I don't condemn things because it has no effect. The judge may do it, the police may do it, they have to do it. I don't.
Do you feel that sometimes equanimity gets confused with a certain aloofness?
Equanimity is fantasy, there's no equanimity. Life is action. What equanimity? When you came here, how many hands did you kill? Not because you have a smile and you sit quiet. All the animals you killed when you climb up all the stairs don't feel your equanimous, you're a killer. Equanimity is a fantasy. It's like people who have the fantasy to be a vegetarian because they don't want to kill animals. They don't want to kill whales. They don't want to kill cows. But the small little thing what they eat on their pizza, that they don't care. That is too small because they're blind to see it. The big animal is good animal, small animal is okay. But it's the right size when it is right to eat an animal. It is fantasy. It is fantasy. I don't know what is the right side. When I eat an apple, I kill so many animals. If I need to kill a whale, I kill a whale. Rarely do kill whales. But I don't have the fantasy, I'm vegetarian. From the moment we're talking together, how many animals I've destroyed? That's life. Life is killing. Not because it is small that it has no value. A hand has less value than a whale. What for? Where does come this knowledge? People live in fantasy. I don't need any fantasy to live. It's a functionality. There are apples, I don't kill whales. It is functional. But it's not because I eat apple that I don't kill animals. That's the tantric approach. Of course, in the approach by purification, the religious approach, yes, there are some right and wrong, and it is part of the game. But it is always cultural. And of course, if you live in a certain period, in a certain area, the fantasy of God and the devil and the right and wrong was so intrinsically breathed in the culture that there was no other way. So through that, some kind of development of purification and this and that were created because there was no other way. But nowadays, people don't have this belief anymore. So I don't need to pretend this kind of fantasy of purity. I don't need when the shade of an Brahman cover my food. I don't need to throw away my sandwich, as Brahman in India has to do. In the shade of you and me, which means the Melcha, foreigners touch their food. They cannot eat it, they have to throw it away. And it is not more stupid as many other things we take for granted here. It is cultural happening. It is based on knowledge, right and wrong, pure and impure, high and low. I respect it for a Brahman. I'm not a Brahman. Right and wrong is always ideological. And again, that doesn't mean you, I'm not telling me, but if you say that means you justify the extermination. No, I don't need to justify the extermination. Why? Because extermination happened. And I live with the fact. And only living with the fact stimulates clarity. So the idea it should never happen again is very unclear and will reveal very wrong. It will happen again. Because that's what we do. Because we don't know any other way than to think that the neighbor is wrong and that I am right. And because he's so wrong that I'm so right that I'm not exterminate the neighbor. That's what we do from the beginning of time. Knowledge of right and wrong lead to concentration camp. Pure and impure lead to concentration camp. Of course, if you're pure, you want to destroy what is impure. And of course, if you're pure, the impure is the other. That's what comes from right and wrong. That's what comes from judgment. This right and wrong, this judgment I don't need. Because I don't need concentration camp. But people who know what is right and wrong create that. Only then. There's never been a massacre without the idea that what is destroyed was not wrong. We kill because it is what we kill is wrong, maybe eliminated. That comes from judgment, that comes from knowing what is right and wrong. Mao Zedong knew what was right and wrong. He caused 60 million Chinese. Stalin knew in Ukraine what was pure and impure, 20 million. But right and wrong. On the opposite, if you don't know, you'll never make a concentration camp. Because you'll be the first one in it. Because you're not different than the other. And very rarely you make concentration camp by yourself. But knowing what is right and wrong, you're making a camp for who is wrong. There's no other way.
So Eric, as my son grows up, I try to create this fertile field of right effort so that he has a milieu that is nurturing, and then he grows up and he murders someone. Is there any cause and effect there?
You, your soul, and the murder are not a way of life. That you could singularize a cause and effect. You don't decide when you were born, and you don't decide your intelligence, your abilities, and the education you gave to your soul, and you don't decide what do you decide. Why, maybe legally, if your child is stupid, you'll be considered responsible because your child is. Maybe there'll be a link in some society. In some other society, if it is in Afghanistan, you will pay 25 goat and you will hug the father of the man or woman he killed and it'll be finished. That's cultural. In some other society, he'll be jailed and journalists will think you've done a bad job as a father. Some others will say you've done a great job as a father. Without your great job, you will have killed more people before. Some people will be very happy because the person he killed was in ranks for them. But there is no responsibility. You're not responsible for your son. You're not responsible for yourself. You're not responsible if you thought to give him the right surrounding was to treat him like that or not. Maybe you thought to give him the right surrounding was to be very soft. Maybe you thought to give him the right surrounding was to be very hard. Maybe you thought that the right surrounding was to give him totally freedom of all interpretation in life. Maybe you thought the right surrounding was to believe in God, or to believe in democracy or in ecology. So, whether you pushed in as the right surrounding, you're not responsible of the level of your intelligence, of your sensitivity, of your own fantasy. If you have sensitivity to that you think that the right are more important than the duty in life, you vote a certain way, and you push your son to vote the same way because you think it is much better. But if you're born with a sensitivity that duty are more important than right, you vote for other style of government. And of course, you'll explain to your son that duty is more important than right in life. Or you'll explain him that right are more important than duty. You decide that for this fulfilling what you prefer, right or duty. What is more important? You don't decide. You don't decide to give him animal or the fantasy of being vegetarian. You don't decide if you're so-called vegetarian to give him macrobiotic overcooked rice or to give him raw rice soak one day and eat it raw. What do you decide? Nothing. So, you're not responsible of anything of you. You know, this type of sexual orientation. So, your son neither. So it is totally right for the society to judge your son eventually. It is right for the society, you pay a chicken and it's finished. But why to make anything personal there? You know that the person he killed was not supposed to die at that age. You knew it was much better to live longer. You knew he would not become another Hitler. Maybe he saved the world from another Hitler. Maybe this man would have killed many other people. You know that, you're sure? You have the direct knowledge that he didn't save the world from another Hitler. If people have this direct knowledge from God, we're happy for them. But I don't. I understand the judge will judge him and condemn him. I don't. It will be a pretension. But the judge has his duty and his right to judge him, to condemn him. But if you're not a judge, you have nothing to judge and nothing to condemn, nothing to approve. Not to condemn doesn't mean you approve. If you don't condemn the dictator, that doesn't mean you approve it. If you don't condemn a killer, that doesn't mean you justified it. No, it is the same. You abstain of both. When the dog attacks somebody, I don't need to justify it. I just need to act according to my abilities, which I don't decide. If I'm so afraid when I see the dog, I look away. If I see the dog, it creates some adrenaline in me and I can come and kill the dog. Am I responsible for that? Am I responsible if I shake, if I just collapse because I cannot see violence? I'm responsible if the dog has already eaten a part of the body, they saw blood, and when I see blood, I collapse. What is my responsibility? On the contrary, if I see blood, I become stronger, I can act more because I have been trained. What is my responsibility in life? No, it is fantasy. The judge condemn or not, he do his job. In Afghanistan, you pay chicken. I don't know what is better. I understand both. I'm not a judge. And you have nothing to worry about your son. Well, or been with a killer. If he was a farmer, he would not be for me better. He is what he has to be, and he is not a killer, and he could not be a farmer. He is what he is unthinkable.
He's what?
Unthinkable. He's not something, and he's not your son.
Okay.
But to stick with the same story, if the judge has the role to judge, doesn't the father, as a society figure, has a role also with the son?
Yes, father does what he can. That's it.
So he has a son.
Sorry?
He has a son.
It seems like that. Are you condemning Hitler's father? Is Hitler's father responsible of the concentration camp? Is Hitler's grandfather responsible for the concentration camp? I agree, people who know that, I don't.
Mm-hmm.
It's always a storied responsibility. Somebody who said yes, Hitler's father was responsible in a way. Some people can say no, what is responsible is England and France that forced Germany to pay such a high price of damage of the First World War that Germans had to borrow money to survive. They borrow money from Jewish people because that was the role in the society. Because they had to borrow money, it created them hate of the Jewish. But if France and Germany would not have imposed such a high tax on German, the German people never had to borrow money from Jewish people, and maybe the anti-Semitism would never have come to that way in Germany. So who is responsible? France and Germany or Hitler's fathers? I don't know. It's always a point of view.
Mm-hmm.
People need to know what is right. So yeah, this point of view knows what is right, but it comes from, it's a fantasy. It is normal, you feel it that way. It is normal when your lover stops sleeping with you and sleep with somebody else, that you feel betrayed, that you feel it is bad, that you feel it is violent, that you feel it is against you, that you feel that it has treason you, that you feel it is normal. But it is not true. So the woman is so happy. So the woman is so praising him that he doesn't sleep with you anymore, he sleeps with her. And it makes her so... Who is right, the woman or you? Who's really right? You should not be happy because he sleeps with her now. It's always a point of view. I don't know what is right. I understand you feel unhappy. I understand she's happy. I understand maybe he doesn't know what is best yet. And he will never know because he's asking himself, who is it better for me to sleep with? And because there is no me, he'll always be in agitation. But of course, the other woman is happy and of course you're unhappy. But it doesn't mean that there is unhappiness. It is only your fantasy. That he was right, he sleep with you, it is wrong, he sleep with somebody else. It is treason if you sleep with somebody else. But when he left somebody to sleep with you, it was not a treason, he was really normal. He was really right, he was beautiful, he was ethic. You don't know why he still wanted to sleep with the one before. Why he didn't leave her before? That was really right. And he was really honorable, and he was really a decent man that he left her for you. But when he leaves you for the other, he's a monster. How will he do that? How will he dare? I must see my functioning. The suffering comes only from my story. And my happiness too. As long as I don't see that, life is hell. I destroy myself only with ideas, with fantasy. I am so unhappy. I am so happy. And I cannot keep one and give up the other one. I cannot be so happy to sleep with him and so unhappy he doesn't. It's the same piece of same coin, both sides. You must see the mechanism. As long as I'll be so happy, sleep with me, I'll be so unhappy. And you won't, of course. And this happiness is psychological. We're not talking about the physical part. You're happy because somebody makes love with you. On the body level, it is totally normal. But when it stops, if you feel sick because nobody is caressing you anymore, you're really sick. Because you're not feeling, you're thinking. Your body does not need to be touched. Your thinking needs to be touched. Because you think that when somebody touches you, he loves you. He doesn't. He wants something. Because the same man who touch you so well, you feel so happy. When you will learn he slept for the last 5 months with another friend of yours, the same touch will be an aggression for you. So all the love you felt was only your own imagination. You never felt this touch, you only felt your imagination. And when he doesn't touch you anymore, you don't feel the absence of his touch because you never felt it. It's another story you're giving to yourself. And you feel so unhappy and you need this touch. It's a fantasy. You function like that, it's a fantasy. When you have a doll, you touch it, you hug it, you're so happy. It is a fantasy. This piece of plastic never gave you any happiness. Only the projection you had toward it. Now you love sleep with somebody else, we give you the whole doll, hug it. Doesn't work. It's strange. Because your experience was he was giving you so much happiness before. He never gave you any. It was only the projection. And your lover never gave you any happiness. Never gave you any love. It was only the plastic. It was only your projection. And only if you see that, when you stop, nothing stopped. There was nothing there. Plastic comes, plastic goes. You remain. Happiness remains. Happiness does not come from plastic, nor from lover. If you are not able to change that, I can read all the Upanishads by heart, I can study Sanskrit or Chinese or Arabic, I can study the old Dutch to read history card. Nothing will ever happen. As long as I need to feel this love, and as long as I feel the love is gone, when somebody stop, come close to me.
So then I'm also plastic.
No, because you're not something. You're plastic if you're asking happiness to yourself, as you ask to a doll. If you ask your body to make you happy, yes, of course you're thinking yourself as plastic. If you ask your mind to make you happy, yes, you're seeing yourself as plastic. But if you don't ask anything to yourself, what for? You're not there to ask, you're there to feel. You cannot feel loneliness, you can only think loneliness. When somebody says, I feel lonely, no, it doesn't, it's think lonely. like when somebody feel you call peine d'amour,
Of sorrow.
sorrow of love. There's no sorrow of love, it's only sorrow of the ego. Love do not know sorrow. Saint François didn't know the sorrow of love. Mr. Eckhart never felt love, he never felt the sorrow of love. Nor in Arabi. There's no sorrow of love. Sorrow belongs to the ego. Love is fulfilling. If I'm unhappy because I lost somebody, it is not love, it is ego. And it is fair, because that's what we do. But I must be honest with myself. It comes and finishes with honesty. As long as I feel like I suffer from love, this dishonesty, this absolute dishonesty, stops me from clarity. You know the beautiful sentence of Katie, clarity doesn't suffer. Only the ego suffers. I cannot see something and suffer from what I see. If I suffer from what I see, it's because I don't see. What I see is clarity. If I suffer from anything I see, I don't see. I interpret, I think.
Eric, are we only thoughts, interpretations, stories, or is there a part of us that really feels something? Are we just ego? All the things that you just mentioned. Is there a part of us that really feels?
Actually, most of the time we are in feeling, but we don't know it. Because in feeling there is nothing felt and nobody feeling, it's a pure non-dual experience. Then the thoughts come, I feel, and then the thought come, I feel this. And then of course you do remember, because when there is subject of the relationship, only then memory can rise. So in the evening when you want to think of the day, you can only memorize when you were in the subject of the relationship. And because that you said, oh, the whole day I was in duality. No, you were not. But you only remember this moment. Because that was the moment when you were in pure sensitivity, but most of the time you didn't know about it. Because you don't leave it in subject of relationship. You leave it in oneness. How many million times in the day you look at the sky without commenting? How many million times you look at the door without commenting? How many million times you look at something without thinking? All these moments were totally integration, were totally intensity, were totally beauty, but you don't remember it because you were not there as a subject, and Monroe's experience was not there as an object. It was fullness. To the fact you said, I don't know this state, doesn't mean you don't know, but it means you don't remember it. It's like some people who said, I never dream. You don't remember the dream. And it is acceptable, but they do dream. So most of the time you're in sensitivity, without knowing it. When you pat your cat, when you peel the potatoes, when you vacuum the carpet, very often you don't pretend I'm vacuuming the carpet. I'm peeling potatoes, these nice potatoes, these bad potatoes. No, life is there, you don't know about it, you don't think about it. Life is action, there's nobody to act. And then sometimes you come back to yourself, and then you appear in the potatoes too, and then say, oh, I have enough peeling potatoes. You only have enough of pretending to be yourself. And then you don't want. Because when the ego comes, it doesn't want. It's the ego who doesn't want. I don't want to do that. I'll do that tomorrow. Only the ego. I don't want this relationship. I don't want to go there. It's the ego. Why I don't want? Because they're going to confront me. Because they're going to challenge me. I don't like to see it that way. Why? Because it's uncomfortable. And why uncomfortability is not comfortable for me? Because I look for security. Ego is always postponing. What you visualize is difficult. That's why in some teaching, and tantric teaching, very often it is said, what you don't want to do, that's what you must do. Do what you don't want to do, that's the teaching. Because what you don't want to do is because your ego is challenged, and that's the only thing you have to do in life, to challenge your ego. So what you don't like, do that, only do that. That's the teaching. Of course it has to be comprehended in the right way. But it is not false as such. See what you don't want to do this morning and just do it immediately. You don't want to do the dishes? That's the first thing to do. You want to go there? That's the second thing to do, and so on and so on. Even it becomes a strategy, of course. What you want to do is irrelevant. It is as ego, you only want something which makes you more happy, more secure, more sleepy, more. You want to love you, you want to respect you, you want to listen to you, you want to understand you. That's a good one. That's the ego in activity. Whatever you want to do, don't do it. It is shit. What you don't want to do is the only thing you have to do. Intensely. Ask Krishna on the battlefield. He doesn't want to fight that. Arjuna but Arjuna on the battlefield. Krishna don't tell him, if you want to fight, go in a cave, meditate, do yoga. If you don't want to fight, do fight. That's the teaching. There's no other. Why? Because in doing what you don't want to do, you realize that it is nothing. That you are fighting for nothing, against nothing. There's no problem in doing the dishes, it is only psychological. There's no problem in going there, it is only psychological. There's no problem in being in a difficult situation, it is only psychological. Because the ego is terror. I could never face that. What does that mean I could never face that? I must face that, to see that there's nothing to face. People love, they love. People think I'm stupid, they're right, we all agree. What is the problem? What is the problem if I don't hold any idea of myself? You're more clever than me, you think I'm stupid, you're right. You're more cautious than me, you think I'm coward, you're right. So what is the problem? Why I don't want to be there? Because there I'm going to see that I'm stupid. Of course, if people are more clever than me, they're going to tell I'm stupid. Why will it be a problem to be stupid with somebody more clever than me? Why will it be a problem to be a coward with somebody more courageous than me? What could be the problem to be weaker with somebody stronger than me? What could ever be the problem? Only for an idea of myself. So what I don't want to do, that's the most essential thing I must do. And what I really like to do is totally waste of energy. That's the technical root of the tantric tradition. That's why it has been very often misunderstood. And it is in the text, it's not an invention of fantasy. When you read Vijnana Bhairav he said when in a battlefield somebody run after you to kill you, feel the intensity. And then in a non-dual mind you'll experience consciousness. He doesn't say when somebody wants to kill you in a battlefield, go in the cave and do yoga, go and relax. No, feel totally what is there. That's what you need. That's why it does happen. And if you face what is there will reveal as consciousness. Only because you're running from it, you see it as danger, you see it as violence, you see it as problematic. For that reason, what you don't want to do it. To see that there was nothing problematic there. The worst that can happen that it challenges your ego. That's the only thing you really want. Because that's the only thing that will make you happy. Teaching is coherent. But compared to the orthodox teaching, the teaching purification, of course, it seems sometimes a little wild. But it is coherent. It is not ideal, it is practical. It's only practical. All the progressive teaching, all the spiritual teaching, purification, create in one way or another concentration camp.
And this feeling of unity, where we see the sky but we're not there, is that what Jean Klein referred to as the non-state?
It is for you to know. And you can only know when you stop looking at it in an objective way. It is only known when there is no more knower. So, see the dynamic, to see it as an object of knowledge. He cannot be known. He is a knower. He cannot be seen. He is a seer. So no dynamism toward anything can do anything else and take you away from what you're looking for. You can only go away. You can never come closer. When you see that, you can only come closer. You can never go away. Whatever you meet, bring you to it. But before that, it is opposite. And it comes in a split second, from one to the other. Maybe this time I have no feeling of time per night, so somebody can tell me the time. I don't want to keep you the whole night.
It's about 9:05.
9:05.
Yeah.
So it could be a few questions more if needed.
Eric, this is a crazy comment or question. What just comes to me now is all this right here and right now, is this all my imagination, my illusion, and or are we here, or are we here? I don't know how to say. I don't even know if I'm here.
All what you perceive is imagination, of course. But what is not imagination is the perceiving. But that you can never know it. All the rest is here is what you make up. Everybody is here is creating a different evening. For some it is very boring, for some it is entertaining, for some it is deep, for some it is superficial. For some more bright than me it is very little. For some more less intelligent. For some it is too long, for some it is too short. So, which meeting you're talking about? The long one, the short one, the interesting one, the stupid one? Which one are we talking about?
So we're all separate pieces.
No, there's only you meeting.
There's only
yours. The only way to know what is really there is if you don't create a personal relationship with the subject. If you hear without creating anything. If you don't create that it is intelligent, that it is stupid, if you don't create that it is long, that it is short, if you don't create you like, you dislike, if you don't create anything, then see what is there. And what is there is so different than what we think, because it is very rare that when you're 2 years old that you see petrol. No, you think it's a doll, it's a nice doll, it's a doll who love you. You don't see it is only petrol. It is very rare somebody see an ex-lover or husband, wife, and so on, simply seeing it without commenting. Simply seeing it. It is very rare to see your son without commenting, without knowing anything, without pretending knowing anything. It is so rare to see a situation without pretending knowing anything. People immediately pretend they know. Because we born like that, because we need this security. You watch TV, you see something, immediately you judge. Yes, a sweet TV show you 5 little babies, all green, white, or pink, I don't know, because they inhaled some toxic gas in Syria. I think it is horrible. Why does America and Europe don't arm the Syrian? The people fighting Syrian army? We function like that. Let's see what will happen. We're going to arm the Syrian rebels. Let's see in 5 years what will be in Syria. They won't be Assad. Let's see what will happen to the Christian, to the Armenian, to the Jewish of Syria. They're all going to have to go, or they're going to be massacred. Only Assad will save them. But we don't see that. We see the 5 little pink babies rubbing gas, and I'm not saying we should not do it. I'm saying we only see our own agenda. We don't see things globally. We only function in affective level. That's a nice dog, that's a bad dog. No, it's a dog. This meeting is the same thing. can you see this meeting without thinking anything about it? Really nothing. Then you'll see it as consciousness. Any other thing is your own fantasy.